Hello, Ray here. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. This is my first time-lapse video that I talk over, and I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go, but I thought I'd write down a few points and just talk about them, and we'll see how it goes. So, well, just to explain what you're seeing here in the background, it's just me playing Kerbal Space Program, trying to get it to the moon, trying to build. Basically, I wanted to do it the cheapest way possible, but I just ended up going overkill. You could probably go anywhere with this rocket, give or take. I don't know if you could go to ELO with it. I'm pretty sure someone could make it happen with gravity assists, but I'm not that smart, so I needed to build the most expensive thing to do the easiest task. But yeah, no, the game is pretty simple. I just wish people would get into it and not be intimidated by the UI and all the building and putting parts together and the staging and all that. It's not too difficult. You only need to know how to use a few parts to get anywhere really. A lot of this stuff is modular and you can do whatever you want. So no, it's a pretty fun game. If you've played it before, you probably know how intimidating it can be when you're trying to do like crazy hard tasks, like you're trying to land in Duna and bring a rover and all that. That for me, that's a bit hard, but for the seasoned Kerbal Space Program player, that's not much to be honest. But yeah, no, this is my first video doing these time lapses and talking over them. And to be honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store when I was building this craft. There's so many parts that I have not seen before because I haven't played in so long, and I'm just trying to make the basically the most Ray GIF possible ship possible. Is that even how you say it? I don't know. This is if I were to build a rocket, that's it. This is all you need to go to the moon. You don't need no more, no less. Is it overkill? Hell yeah. Is it necessary? Hell no. Do I love it? Of course. So this is the rocket. But yeah, like the stuff I want to talk about is well, the points I got here. Kerbal Space Program 2 multiplayer. So if you've been living under a rock, you probably don't know this, but if you haven't been living under a rock, Kerbal Space Program 2 will have multiplayer, and it's going to be vanilla multiplayer, unlike Kerbal Space Program 1, which has multiplayer, but it's a mod, so it's not really in the game. Vanilla multiplayer were kind of changed, I think, how people approach this game. It might grow at a crazy rate compared to the first one. If streamers find a way to enjoy it, if you can get communities around it, because the colony building is also a big selling point. That's going to be really fun to build colonies and whatnot. I'm pretty sure the modding community is going to get weapons in there, and we're going to be making crazy stuff. I don't know if the devs will want that, but the devs said they wouldn't add weaponry into the game. I think I read it somewhere. Kerbal Space Program 2. They said this is not a weapon like building game, right? It's just a space program game, which makes sense, right? They don't want to get into that kind of stuff. But no, yeah, here we're burning towards the moon. They made it so easy to get to the moon in this game. I mean, all you got to do is enter orbit, right? You get a point 90 degrees, enter orbit of Kerbin, which is Earth in the game. It's a smaller version of Earth. Once the moon rises, you just point towards it and you floor it, right? Pedal to the metal. I panicked a little bit there because time was set to 1,000 times and I couldn't slow it down. But but yeah, so point towards the moon, get to about 3,000 meters per second, and pretty much just coast until you get there. Um, no, it's pretty simple. And then here I was just trying to land on the light side of the moon, just so I could see my ship and all. And this is the most overkill, most wasteful way to go to the moon because I dumped so much fuel and yeah, like here, I don't think I even emptied this tank. I just threw it down to explode, and it was a sight to behold. But yeah, no, I haven't played this game in a minute. I haven't really watched many tutorials on it. This is all just self-taught kind of memeing around. Um, that's why I do things so terribly inefficient. The only thing I actually learned how to do was asparagus staging, and that's when you send fuel when you have pairs of tanks radially attached to a main tank, and you drop them two at a time, two opposite pairs at a time, and that is the most efficient way that I know of that you can go to space with the minimum amount of fuel. It's because you're dropping all the dead mass as you go. You're shedding it off. So yeah, no, that's the most efficient way of doing it. And yeah, so drop the flag, Kerbal Space Program 2 hype, and we're going back to Earth or Kerbin. And no, Kerbal Space Program 2 is going to be interesting. What worries me is kind of like the intimidating UI. Looking at some of the screenshots of the gameplay of the it is pre-alpha. I mean, you can't really expect much, but it does look a bit intimidating. The UI is kind of like a major, like when it comes to games, UI is kind of what is like how you judge a book by its cover, if you will. It's not really critical to get it right first time, but it's important to make it as easy to comprehend as possible, to get as much information as possible, while being able to convey. Um, well, hang on. Let me rephrase that. It is important to convey as much information as possible in the simplest way possible. Because the current UI, the way it's set up, is there's so many things going on in the new game that it's just like you don't know where to look, right? And now, obviously, if you play the game enough, you're gonna know, but it's not really. I don't know if it's something people want to get into, right? You need kind of a simpler UI, if you will. But I mean, only time will tell. I'm not a UI designer. What do I know? Uh, simpler, but I know something for a fact is that my friends are more likely to play simpler games than they are to jump into games with complex UI and whatnot. So, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think the game's gonna be awesome? Do you think it's overhyped? Do you think it's underrated? It's not out yet, so only time will tell. But yeah, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.